Get them fired up and get them to the staging lanes, baby, because 8th Mile Apparel is now carrying Glowing Bracket Racing merch. Hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and much more can be yours today by visiting 8thmileapparel.com. We appreciate each and every one of you guys supporting the Glowing Bracket Racing YouTube and Facebook pages.
We are back April 9th, 2024, episode 150 of the Glowing Bracket Racing Live podcast, which is always presented to you by TSR Racing Products. Hit them up for your Power Glides, Turbo 350s, 400s, and 727 transmission parts, BRG 3D printed parts, anything you need, call Brian Garrett. He'll get it printed up for you. If you got one of those weird head units or whatever that doesn't really have a mount, give him the dimensions and he'll print something up to mount that right there on wherever you want to mount it, man. You can mount it on your roll bar, mount it on your steering wheel, whatever you want to do. Syntex Printing out there in Temple, Texas. Hit them up for your stickers, shirts, brochures, anything you need for your company. Driven Racing Oil. Shirt I got on right now. Use code GBR10. Get yourself 10% off. And they also make a really good new cleaning product that's like a foaming type deal. The rubber that's on the back of your car from the burnout and everything, spray that on there. It pretty much just falls right off, man. It's way better than Goo Gone and all that stuff. Works great. Foaming, just spray it on there. I'll put a video one of these days of that stuff up. But use code GBR10 and get yourself 10% off your order for that type of deal. Proform Parts, proformparts.com for your carburetors, alternators, starters, radiators, tools, distributors. Man, I could go on and on, but you just need to visit the website, proformparts.com. Check out what they have for yourself. And, of course, Crew Chief Pro software. They will figure out your dial-in before you do. And time to time, air gets good, air gets bad. You never know where you're going to be at. Crew Chief Pro will get you all in order. And if you need any kind of shirts, we don't have them on tonight, but we do have hats on tonight. If you want one of these nice GBR hats, we got all kinds of stuff over there at 8thmileapparel.com. Go check out the Glowing Bracket Racing gear if you want to support the channel. We greatly appreciate it. George, what's going on, man? What's it like down in Texas?
Pretty rainy, man. It's pretty rainy. Definitely looking forward here in the next couple of hours. Be it as it may, we'll be taking off to head over to Port Allen, Louisiana for the Racer Appreciation Bash and have a good time over with CP Promotions, man. So looking forward to that for sure. Learned a lot about the Easy Light. Of course, the Sandlin family is a pretty good friends of ours, and we kind of race in the same area. Well, Eric's got a real good product here called Easy Light. So today and for immediate release, welcome Easy Light to the GBR community. You needing to fuel your car at night? Choose Easy Light. It's pretty catchy, if I must say so myself. So I know, just like any of us here, we've been in a hurry or can't quite see because we're holding a flashlight trying to see down into our fuel tanks and this, that, and the third. Well, you need to remedy that, and Eric Sandlin and Easy Light can take care of that for you. It makes them for all different types of fuel cans, and definitely just by the switch of a button, you'll be able to see down into that light. So welcome on to the Easy Light, and hit us up over here at Glowing Bracket Racing if you don't know Eric, and we'll get you into the right place where you can get you an Easy Light for your car. So otherwise, though, Casey, man, it's been a pretty interesting week. It was an interesting weekend The week has already started out fairly interesting. I don't know about you guys. Yesterday was the total eclipse in a lot of places, and I got tired twice through the middle of the day. And don't ask me why now, but got dark and I started to yawn. And then I got back up, and then it got dark again, and I'm starting to yawn again. So it kind of had me a little discombobulated. I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but interesting little happening there in our stratosphere, I guess you could call it.
Dude, I'll tell you something that's interesting in your stratosphere. Speaking of Sandlin, Chad Sandlin, man, it was I don't know what you'd call it, but I see everything that said Sandlin Family Racing seemed, and then Chad Sandlin himself seemed to be pretty deep all this week in Vegas, man. So I know you probably got a little more inside scoop on that, but I want to say that Chad was driving a Nova, which I'm pretty sure was not his car, but in the big race itself, that would be the yellow Nova that was at least down to 16. I want to say it might have made it down to 8.
More like 8, if not a little deeper, yeah. I think. Again, Casey, we talked about this behind the scenes and kind of over the phone today. We both had our operations going this weekend, and both of us were out racing, so it was real hard for us to be able to recall everything that happened at Spring Fling Vegas. But I know that just about every time I turned on the live stream, somebody in Sandlin's truck or Sandlin himself was taking care of business. Okay, so and then Donnie Haggard go ahead and turn on the final win light in the Skeet 10 on Sunday for 30K. So definitely, if I had to give a MVP, I know the first day, I know Chad went pretty far the first day as well. If I had to give an MVP, or if Spring Fling gives out an MVP for that race, definitely has to be included on that list, Chad Sandlin, or the Skeet 10, whichever you prefer. Give it to a car if you have to at this point.
Yeah, man, it was pretty wild, and it's cool too to see Donnie Hagar runs in and flies in. I saw he had posted on Facebook, maybe a week before the race, 2 weeks before the race, he was looking for a ride if anybody wanted to let him get in their ride, which at that, the way that the year that he had last year and what I had heard from Ryan Gleghorn that he has done previously, anybody'd be crazy if they were wanting to look for a driver to not call on him. And obviously he flies in, wins the last 30 grander of the week in a vehicle that I'm sure he had never sat in before. And that just goes to show the talents of Donnie Hagar. It's not he's not a one-trick pony, I guess you could say.
Yeah, definitely. And he's showing that loud and clear. A lot of people, like you just mentioned previously, we really didn't know who Donnie Hagar was until he took home the OG million, which is the creme de la creme of bracket racing in the first place. Take that home, and then you go out to Vegas and take home some of the Spring Fling cash. You're making a really good resume for yourself. So if Donnie Hagar calls me and says, I want to drive Mo, do you think I'm going to say no? It's basically one of those things. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't, that's for sure.
No chance.
But yeah, man, what else we got going on out there? Because like you said, I feel like I've been having a whirlwind of stuff. I went out to Coastal Plains, went racing myself this weekend. We got some vlogging going on from out there that's going to be coming up tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So anybody who's interested in that, check out Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. It's the only place that it's going to be. So that'll be uploading and releasing tomorrow night at 7. Me and Champ went out there, had a good time. I had an issue in 5th round. We'll just let you figure out what that is for yourself tomorrow night. But those of you that don't know, this weekend I'm intending on going to Kinston. Looks like Scott Lewis, he's over here in the chat. He said he's coming with us too. So we'll go out there and see what's going on this weekend. And as long as weather stays away, we should have quite a bit of racing coming up here for the springtime out here, just one after another. But I feel like I unloaded the car and started working on the car last night, or started working on it Sunday, and then got some stuff going on. And then it's just one thing after another, man. That's all I can say. I know I've said it about 15 times, but that is what it is.
Yeah, man. No, like you just mentioned, it's busy. It's starting to pick up. I know here in Texas this week. I know the IHRA Classic is going on this weekend, and so that's one thing. Last weekend I went out to Ardmore and got a chance to put some laps on the FTI converter that I purchased, and definitely looking forward to getting a few more laps so I can understand everything about it. You know, I still think I'm chasing a little bit of a gremlin, but I do like how the car fell back. Definitely a lot better than what it was. So some pretty good enhancements we made to Mo for our first time out, and unfortunately, Mother Nature wanted to puke on us quite a bit there in Ardmore. I'm standing in the trailer with Kevin Grider, just chopping it up and talking drag racing, and it just pouring down. And I went to buy back, but ended up just going ahead and getting my buyback money back and took up out of there. And Will Carroll and crew called off the race shortly after. So definitely looking forward to the next one. But not only is IHRA doing their thing, we're going to be, like I said, we're heading to Port Allen, Louisiana to get ready for the Racers Appreciation Bash. Now, CP's thrown this race twice now. I had the pleasure of racing it the first time, so this will be the second annual Racer Appreciation Bash. If you remember the first one, it was actually at I-30 here in Texas, and the place was packed minus the rain result that washed out the first, kind of the parking day, I should say. But other than that, it was packed. There's no rain in the forecast, okay? So I'm going to help make the decision for you if you're close to Port Allen, Louisiana, or within 6 hours, I would say. Get in your cars or your trucks, load up with some methanol or some racing gas, whatever you choose. Bring it on out here to Port Allen, Louisiana, and let's go. Top bulb's going to be getting 10. Bottom bulb's going to be getting 7,500. I know you guys can see the flyer right in front of me. It's the one that's green and says Racer Appreciation Bash in big letters at the top. We're also going to have this bad boy live streamed here on Going Bracket Racing, so you have to subscribe to the YouTube channel in order to catch some live feed action this weekend as well. The whole crew's going to be out there. My wife will be behind the controls, so I'll be up in the scaffold actually using a following camera for this particular event. So, I mean, there's at least going to be something to watch if you don't decide to come on out and have some fun. I know there's a live band happening. There's a dinner happening. There's a lot of things happen. Probably a practice tree race knowing CP or some type of a race for that isn't on the actual racetrack. So something to do, man. That's all I know.
Yeah, man. But not to go too far away from the spring fling. The one thing that everybody will notice is obviously the thumbnail for this episode was Luke Bogacki winning his second spring fling. And I don't know if anybody's seen it, but they blew the limo up trying to make a run down the track and waited for another limo to get going wherever they were going. But, dude, we got to talk about some of these packages Bogacki was throwing down because it's unbelievable the way he was hitting the tree. I mean, he was sub 005, I want to say, probably most of the rounds. Going into sixth round, I want to say he was still doubled. Sandlin actually took him out that round. I went a little bit under, but I mean, man, when he was in, I mean, we're talking probably, I mean, definitely 15 or better, probably 75% of the time. Total, yeah, not on the tree, total. And it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. I've never seen that string of packages put up before. And I know that Vegas is a place where a lot of people, it's kind of lax in the first couple rounds as far as big money racing is concerned. And I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. But, man, I mean, Luke was going through absolutely drilling the tree, running it A to B. I think he might have been package racing most of it. Whenever he had to drive, he did drive and tighten it up a little bit. But, man, everything he had, he was dialing it to go dead on. It was going dead on, and that's proof right there that the best package wins. And whenever you have packages like Luke, it's hard to beat them.
It's a fact, man. Casey, you're maybe about to come back there. You've been froze for a little bit, but we can hear you loud and clear, just so you know. And we'll just keep moving on. But I got you off the screen for now, and I can see the YouTube guys trying to see where you are, see if you left us or not. But definitely, Casey, I hadn't seen that many strings that many good sub 15 laps like that either. And it's been a long time, I would say. And I'm on my way home from Ardmore, and you and Dylan are basically blowing up my phone with our group chat there. And so I'm listening in and not really reading the text messages and understanding that old Bogacki is really on a string. And like you said, I think I heard he was 9 one round, then he was 10 the next, then he was heck, man, he was good. Even if somebody red lit against him, he laid down a number. So there's a new sheriff in town, is all I got to tell you. His name is Cool Hand Luke. You don't win Spring Fling Vegas twice like that. Nobody else has done it. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's not the easiest place in the world to race in the first place with the weather swings and the wind and all this other stuff that comes along with it. I know that, as you mentioned here, I'm pretty sure nobody will argue with you. I definitely won't argue with you because I did see several for the first 3 rounds, I want to say. The first couple of days, not the million, but several 80 packs and several 100 packs and several people 100 on a tree. First 3 rounds seemed to be, maybe y'all stayed out too late in Vegas, messing with them showgirls or something. I don't know what you guys was doing there at the first couple of days, but all of a sudden, and it started tightening up, man. So hats off to Cool Hand Luke, man. There's definitely a new sheriff in town. And definitely some room in the GOAT conversation, in my humble opinion. Definitely some big steps went forward right there. Looking forward to seeing Luke out a little bit more, maybe at some of these big money bracket races. I know we'll see him at the OG, and wouldn't mind seeing him out at TB's Twin 50s or even in Kentucky, because they're going to throw down they're going to throw down big time at those races as well. So if you're anywhere close to Port Allen, Luke, want to come run for 10 grand. I know you might have just won, maybe $300,000. I don't know what that check said, but come on out here and play with us too, man. We have some fun.
Tell you what, the reason me and Champ were blowing up your phone was because we were all in a group text and we were watching the race because we had just got home from racing. And speaking of, I really like whenever Coastal Plains opens the gates at 9 in the morning, starts time runs at 10, because I can drive 2 hours to get there and then race and then still be home by 10 o'clock, because we waited till the race was over. Our buddy Travis Morton won that deal, so shout out to him. Shout out to Jimmy Hodges for running up that deal. Dylan slid into both pictures, the winner and the runner-up picture. It's funny how that works. But anyway, I think at 8 cars left, it was like a who's who at 8 cars. People you would expect to be in the finals of anything that says million behind it. Luke Bogacki, Gary Williams was in it, Jeff Serra was in it, Kyle Cotrera, Garrett Griffith. I believe Sandlin was one of them. Then I know there was a black dragster. I want to say I don't know if he got to buy that run. And then somebody else slipping my mind right now. The last 2 people slipped my mind. Sorry about that. But everybody will know because they can go back and watch Spring Fling on Spring Fling Bracket Races YouTube channel and figure out who I'm missing. Right. They'll announce their name. They'll put it up on the computer. But anyway, yeah, it was legitimately at 8 cars. If you had to do a Calcutta and put money on anything, it's not a scenario like, for example, if you're at a major foot brake race and Nick Hastings, and then whoever gets Nick Hastings, that's like, now everybody's like, man, I don't really want to get in it now. At this deal, I think it would kind of be like, give me anybody, and you're going to have a chance to get it. I mean, Gary Williams, 2-time OG million champion. Jeff Serra obviously has won anything there is to win. Garrett Griffith is on his way to kind of winning anything there is to win in the Midwest. He's won, I think, a couple TB races. I think he's won one of Jake's races out there. Was in the finals of the dragster race. Everybody forgot about the very first race last week. I think it was on Tuesday with that really nice American carbon car. Garrett was in the finals of that. So, I mean, he almost became a dragster man. So y'all dragster boys, you could have had a problem on your hands there for a second.
True statement, man. And honestly, I've been watching the Garrett Griffith kid for a while now. And I don't know if you remember, a while back, we did a power ranking. And I want to say it was in Kilcare for a TB race. And I had Garrett Griffith kind of at the top there. Steve Collier was up there too, of course, because that's just a pretty stout dude as well. But those door trucks to the front, man, those door trucks are taking care of business. And definitely not shocked to see Garrett Griffith or Chad Sandlin or anybody in the Skeet 10 anywhere near the finals of that race. Going back to what you mentioned before, that Nova, the yellowish looking Nova, that's Tony Farmar's car, and definitely got to keep your eyes open for the Farmar twins. Both of them are dragster drivers. Well, I think Talon may actually jump in the Nova or the Deuce, whatever it is. He may jump in that every now and again, but you got to watch out for those two boys because they'll chop your head off in a heartbeat. So I think they're just now in college, maybe the first year. Definitely some pretty solid racers out of here in this Texas area. So look forward to seeing them more on the big scale as well. But that was Tony Farmar's car there that Chad Sandler was driving down that deep.
Yeah, man, it was a nice car too. But
absolutely,
I'd say Chad's welcome to drive it whenever he wants to now.
Yeah, I don't think there will be any fighting going on out of the Farmar clan. Well, I think they travel with maybe three cars in their rig as well. So, I mean, somebody's going to have something to drive one way or the other. So, even if you see him in one of them dragsters, I wouldn't be shocked. So, old Chad can drive a dragster too. Don't get it wrong. You know, he's pretty much he's definitely not a one-trick pony. He let go on the bottom, he let go on the top. Doesn't matter. He'll take care of it. So. I think I seen a debate between him and Eric, and I don't mean to, start family feud here, but I think Eric basically said, a lot of people like to think I'm better than him, but, Chad just showed that I'm probably not as good as he is on that racetrack. That was Eric himself who said that. Sorry if I'm quoting you wrong, Eric. I'll see you soon. You can let me know. So, but definitely some brotherly love going on there.
I think it's one of those things too that you really separate the men from the boys whenever you have someone come in and having not driven anything. For example, Donnie, perfect example. And yeah, you're putting him in something that he's capable of winning in, but also to put him in something that he's never sat in before, and things aren't right in your reach. The shifter might not be where you want it, button might not be where you want it. You really don't know what you can necessarily kill exactly in a certain area if that's how you drive. Especially in the S10 version, it's just different how long it is and stuff and how you're looking out of it. And I just think I've always thought that someone who can win in anything, like Gary Williams is the king of that. You put Gary Williams in anything, he's going to go just as deep as if he was in his own car. And I think that's when you really start to see Scotty Richardson, the original guy who can drive anything. To put someone in a car they've never driven and them to perform that way, I think that speaks volumes to someone's actual talent behind the wheel.
Yeah, no question about it. No question about it. And I don't know if we let this cat out the bag right now or not, but you've mentioned him once or twice already, talking about somebody who can jump into pretty much anybody's car and do phenomenal things, maybe even immortal. Somebody check his pulse, but Jeff Serra cracked him for 50 grand in the Perfect Pass race, and laid down 0 to take home 50. A solid drag racer, and that's just saying it lightly, to know you're in a Perfect Pass race and then go perfect. What are your thoughts, Casey?
I mean, I don't think he was driving for him that weekend, but his last car owner, I think Withrow, was the last one to do it. So, I mean, they got something figured out, and they definitely know how to make a car do what they want it to do. And once you really look into it, it shows why they win all those races, because they know how to make it go dead on. That's how much more proof do you need,
Yeah. Yeah, and on top of that, if it ain't going dead on, well, they'll make it go dead on by killing however much they need to kill and taking the stripe out however much he needs to take it. It ain't uncommon for you to hear that Jeff Serra was behind 2,000. But do you think that was intentional or not? Because half the time, if he stayed behind, I believe he tried to stay behind, not vice versa. It's just one of those generational talents, man, in my opinion, that I don't care what car he's in. It doesn't matter how fast or slow it is, in my opinion. He knows how to turn on that final win light. He knows how to do it.
I think that Jeff Serra probably is the best to know how to go dead on no matter what. And I think a lot of people are trying to wheel race Serra and they're trying to do whatever it is they're doing, but he's just got a totally different way that before him and Johnny Ezel, no one really held that much. Like, not like what they do. Like, because Jeff, when he's driving that orange Camaro time to time, bronze, whatever you want to call it, copper, whatever, he's liable to hold 12. I mean, but the thing is, he knows how to get back to dead on. So you never can race him. He's always racing himself. He's never racing whoever's next to him, you know? And that's the thing that I think separates Jeff Serra and Johnny from everybody else, is they've learned to do their own thing while still paying attention to what you're doing. And they'll race you when they have to race you, but you can never really race them, you know? Yeah. And it takes somebody who can make, 600-700 runs a year to learn how to do that. The average man can't do that. Those two guys can, and it pays off for them.
Yeah, I see it on YouTube. Brian Perkins, I think the last name there. I just switched to Facebook, but yeah, he's saying seat time. That's absolutely exactly what Casey just hinted at there. It's definitely a seat time thing there. I believe those guys got their cars down to the sound, to where they can listen to what the car's doing and know where they are. It's almost they're all one. The car, the driver are one in that particular instance. And just a little bobble from the car, or it got out of the groove a little bit, or it didn't sound right coming up to the shift or the fallback. Something that they're able to calculate during the pass and still make it dead on. So
I was very disappointed that in the finals, you'll notice Serra's car makes a kind of a pretty big move, and he has to get out of it before half track in the finals of the million. And I was very interested to see how Luke raced Jeff, because that's two of the best to do it. Luke races one way, Jeff races, I think, 180 degrees the other way. And I was just very interested to see what's that race look like. Because I thought who was going to win that round was whoever screwed up the finish line. I don't think one was going to win or one was going to lose. I think one was going to lose for themselves. And I was very interested to see who that person would be, because, I mean, they were dialed pretty tight, and I would not have been surprised if at half track Jeff is over a dragster in front of Luke. And I just wanted to see what it looked like and slow-mo it, and kind of just for my personal enjoyment, just to watch how this race happened. And that was a crazy deal for me. I don't know if something broke on the car. I doubt the track prep went away, because that's known to be one of the best prep tracks in the whole country. And Bruton Smith owns it, Bruton Smith, their organization owns it, Speedway Motorsports or whatever it is. Yeah. So they're not lacking for money. Yeah. And they're definitely not going to be lax on that race anyway.
Yeah, one thing I need to know, and maybe somebody in the chat knows, maybe even you know, Casey, who had the tree advantage either way? Because
I don't know.
Yeah, that would definitely tell me something. It wouldn't shock me if everybody says Luke had the advantage just because of what he had done maybe the first 10 rounds before the finals in the first place. Dude was nasty on the tree all week, at least in that race. So, oddly enough, I think, and we had this conversation too, Casey, I want to say Luke might have blew up a motor and went to a spare and just ended up in a good spot.
Yeah, he broke a cam in the Roadster, I heard, and then they put a new cam in that, and then the whole motor in the dragster blew up, and then they put a new motor in the dragster, and I mean, he had a rough week, man. So it worked out well for him.
Yeah, man.
All
I have
things
to say,
considered.
so I said that to say, man, is there something that is tied together? And maybe let's go to a commercial right here, but is there something that is to say about when you have to work a lot on your equipment and then go out on the track and race shortly after? Keep those thoughts in your mind, and we'll kind of move that into an open discussion where, hey, man, I ran over something sharp and flattened a slick, and I had to bust to get that ready. The battery didn't start. I had to use jumpers. The motor blew up 2 rounds ago or yesterday. Transmission, I broke an input shaft or the converter lock. Keep those thoughts in your mind as things that you've had to work on at the track, And then let's talk about, did you end up doing well, or did it all fall apart from there right after these messages? Hang in there.
We've completely redesigned our best-selling thermostat fan to make it even better. ProForm's high-performance universal 15-inch electric fan is the perfect upgrade to replace the stock fan in your vehicle. It's equipped with a thermostat that's adjustable from 160 to 240 degrees. Mounted to your radiator supports with sturdy brackets and driven by a heavy-duty motor, this unit pulls up to 2,800 CFM of air with a 14-amp current draw. All mounting hardware and wiring are included.
BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts are able to provide you with whatever you desire to enhance your drag racing operation. Items like safety belt magnets, nitrous bottle holders, and even quick release delay box mounts are able to be obtained from BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts. Have a look at top selling items such as helmet hooks and steering wheel hooks, which are proven to make it easier to maneuver throughout your race car. You can contact BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts at telephone number 765-729-1177. All right. Welcome back, Going Bracket Racing community. Thanks for being with us every single Tuesday, 5 Eastern, 4 Central. Talk about bracket racing, talk about the happenings of bracket racing. Maybe some things that go on the earth. Hopefully not. We don't too much bring no politics to this show, and don't you do it either. Otherwise, we'll have to time you guys out in the chat. We don't want to hear about no politics. But anyway, can't do it without the good friends at TSR Racing Products, Proform Parts, CrewChiefPro.com, Driven Racing Oil, BRG Motorsports 3D printed parts, Syntex Printing, Ken Jones Performance, 8th Mile Apparel. If you want to get you some of that GBR merch, head on over to 8th Mile Apparel. Newly acquired marketing partner, EZ Light. Don't fuel your car at night without an EZ Light, in my opinion. So definitely thanks to everybody for hanging in there and joining us on today's stream. So we learned via Facebook chat, and thanks out to Austin Thomas, who had the lead off the hit between Jeff Serra and Luke Bogacki in that final. And Luke had the nod by 3 thou. Looks like he was 3 on the tree and Serra was 6. And so Luke, of course, continued his effortless onslaught at the tree to just take it with him every single time down the doggone track. So we can just digest that a little bit and understand how Luke's car was running that day. In my opinion, he was 3. Luke was laying down 8, in my opinion, because he was 8, he was 9, he was 10, he was like 11. He kept laying down right around that 7 to 11 range, I think, here. Again, I was driving home and was just listening and wasn't really watching, of course, but I'm going to say Luke would have been 8. So, with Jeff Serra being 6, you see him getting inside of that $2,000.
Oh man, it's like I said, nobody will ever know now. Jeff is the king of making you screw up.
Yeah.
Johnny Ezel started it. Johnny Ezel started it, and he said it flat out. He said, "You catch people screwing up because nothing looks right." Jeff capitalized on that, and I mean, it would have been a drop fest. The facts are is that Luke would have had to. I believe Luke would have raced Jeff to package race him because he knows that Jeff is gonna just get back to dead on somehow, and you can't race Jeff. You can't race against him. You have to do your own thing, and he's usually better at doing his thing than you are at doing your thing. Now, Luke already had 3 thou in his pocket. That's a lot when you're talking about somebody who had been better than 15 total, because now he can still, if Luke goes dead on, which he had been all night, I don't think that Luke loses that race. But Jeff, well, first of all, we just talked about the fact that Jeff won the
Perfect Dow,
the 000 and go dead on award, got $50,000 for that. So anybody who thinks Jeff Serra can't go dead on, you're out of your mind. That's number one.
Yep.
So Jeff can always make it happen, and there's nothing to be said that Jeff wasn't going to be 6 total that run too.
There's nothing to be said. What you're definitely right. If I haven't seen the guy drop dead on zero 10 times, then I've seen it 20. It ain't gonna be less than 10 though, I can tell you that. But we're talking about this is bracket racing himself. So if he's got 3 on the tree, in my opinion, again, 8 total is going to be a handful to get inside of. 8 total is going to be a handful to even try to get your wheel in front of him at that point. So it's almost a guessing game in my opinion how close that would be. May the best man win in that scenario. It's not Rocky Balboa versus Ivan Drago here, because we all know that Rocky Balboa ended up winning in the end, getting his butt kicked in the beginning. No, this one here is more like flip a coin, and you'll figure out the winner. That's how tight that was going to be. That was going to, and you're right, Casey, that was going to end up being one heck of a drag race if Serra didn't have to bow out.
Yeah, I would have loved to see it, man. It's unfortunate how it ended up, but I'm sure they both got a good cut during the split. I'm sure that I'm sure Jeff got his $50,000 already, so he probably came out better than everybody, to be honest with you, out of the entire weekend. But he didn't have that one other trophy. I mean, he's won all the biggest stuff there is to win already. Won one of the first guaranteed $1 million races. And don't forget, that was in a car that had a random new motor plugged in. That car was going 530s and the motor broke, and then they put one of Scotty Richardson's motors in it, and all of a sudden couldn't run within a tenth every run. Serra can see things that people can't see. That's his thing. That's his gift, is that he can see things and make things happen at any speed in any car. Typically, we see him running dragsters, but people forget the biggest race he's won in his career was in a door car that was barely faster than 6 flat, and they had no clue what it could run. I think the converter was still out of the big motor. So it was extremely tight, which is the worst side of things you want to be on. And so, I mean, going back to it, if hypothetically speaking, if Luke's going to be 8 total on that run, I do not put it past Jeff to be able to somehow take 2,000 and be 6 total. I think that would be, you'd be out of your mind to say that Jeff Serra of all people can't do that. I think Jeff Serra and Gary Williams, I think, could, if people could make it happen, they could make it happen, but they didn't make it happen this time.
Not this time, man. I think Old Racer agrees with you too. He says if Serra makes it down the track, he thinks Serra gets inside of that, what I would presume would probably be 8 total. I just honestly, at that particular point in the race, I don't see Luke having to get off the gas and still being dead 5 or a little bit better. So definitely would have been a really, really good race to watch for sure. All the way down to the finish line. Both of them were definitely stellar up top. So, but
it just would have been, like I say, the main reason I wanted to see it was I just wanted to see someone who races for a living, primarily, who's one of the best to ever do it, by far, probably top 3 best to ever do it. And then somebody who teaches racing that's probably in the same realm. They're neck and neck. How do they race each other? That's what I really wanted to see more than anything. I feel like it was stolen from me, George. It's unfair. It's unfair to me.
Doggone racing gods wouldn't let us see what we wanted to see. You know what I mean? And way to be safe. You know what I mean? This is the final of $1 million. So if he bowed out, something wasn't right. Okay. So way to be safe, Jeff Serra. Way to use your noggin. You know what I mean? Not wadded up against the wall or something. Speaking of, and I don't want to put too much, huh?
I was just going to say that takes a lot of discipline in that round of that level of a race to realize, because I guarantee you that car had spray on it. He could have pedaled it and then tried to jug it to the finish line, and and it wasn't the right thing to do, so he got out of it. And at that level of a race, there's probably a lot of guys that would say there's so much money on the line, I'm seeing what happens here, because whatever in the split, whoever runnered up that deal could have replaced the car.
No question about it. No question about it. And I'm going to be honest with you, Casey, you're probably right, where there was something that Jeff Serra didn't like what he saw. He didn't like it, so he tried to do something to make it look different. I don't know if he was expecting Luke to be 3. You know what I mean? He knew. I guarantee you, he knew he was 00 when he let go. But now all of a sudden, Luke's where he shouldn't be in your mind, as good as you felt like you were on the tree. So now I have to do something different to try to get back around you. Doesn't that make sense? I mean, you just said it yourself. Maybe he got on a jug and tried to make it look wacky out there and
Oh, what
figure out
I'm
I gotta
saying
bow out.
is, I'm saying something happened to the car,
Oh yeah,
and other people might have tried to jug it after that, pedal it to get it back in, and then jug it to the finish line. I don't think that's the case at all, because they were so, like, they were dialed relatively close too, so you can kind of look at each other and see what's what. I just think that either something broke on the car, or maybe there was, I don't know. I mean, it had to be. I feel like it had to be something that dripped off the car or something, because a dragster never makes a violent move like that to the center line, um, unless it got in something, because that track's smooth. It's a national event facility, one of the premier at that, because it's a 4-lane. They run 4 wides there and stuff.
sure.
So I mean, this is literally one of the most expensive facilities that is possible to be built for drag racing. It's obviously in the desert, so it's not going to rain there.
Right. Right.
I know they had high winds. I know that high winds may have contributed to some cars wrecking
Yep.
there.
That's where I was going
That's
to go
the whole
next.
reason. Yeah, that's the whole reason the million was on Saturday anyway, which was a very good call on Peter Biondo's part to be like, look, we're competing with high winds. We're not going to run the main event on a windy day. It's supposed to be less windy tomorrow. We're going to move it to tomorrow, move that one to today, or vice versa. And which again worked out great for me, because by the time I got home, they were down to like 16 cars. So
Right. No, man, I was going to bring that up, dude. It kind of an interesting happening out there. I don't know how many wrecks actually happened, but I heard there were a couple at least, and maybe even a few at that, and was kind of curious as to what was happening, the reason why that was the case. And maybe wind is the key. I think there's some pretty big grandstands there, and once you come out from behind those grandstands, that wind gust at you could push you or pull you wherever you don't want to be. So
time to time at Gateway, whenever I was growing up racing there, whenever I was younger, when we would run quarter mile time to time, that if you ever had a crosswind there, you had to be ready for it. And there were times when you're driving a dragster that you'd be like this right whenever you went from behind those big old grandstands that are a couple stories high, and if you weren't ready for it, I mean, it could really cause a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely glad everybody's okay. I didn't hear anybody getting hurt or anything like that. So cars can be replaced is all I got to tell you. So we got a couple different directions we can go, Casey. We can talk about super quick. We could go into why there isn't enough. Let's just go there, Casey. It's a good topic, I think, man. We talked about it a little bit today, but we know, being Division 3, coming up in Division 3, both of us are now outside of Division 3, but we know coming up within that rank that they have a 450 cutoff class where the dragsters must run 450 or slower but qualify in a 32 car field. That happened at Gateway this weekend, Worldwide Technology, whatever you'd like to call it, and this past weekend, and definitely was an interesting turnout. I didn't get a chance to go to Chris Carrico's page to see how many cars actually ran in the 440s, Casey, for qualifying for this class, but I don't feel bad if I say 10 cars were at 440, which is a disqualified pass. Talk to me about this particular class and why we don't have it quite a bit more out in the racing community. Not the 450 index that we know we get with Verge. Verge definitely has that taken care of, where it's heads up, it's pro tree, but the 450 cutoff to where, yeah, you might be able to run 445, but if you don't slow it down and get within inside of 450, you won't qualify for this 32 car field. Talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on that class and why we haven't seen it move out. I believe Oakley's actually sponsoring that. Oakley Engines or Oakley Performance is sponsoring that particular series this year. Talk to me about why it's not out a little bit more, Casey.
So the Super Quick series in Division 3 originally was I think it was created in the 90s. I remember, I feel like watching in the mid 90s. And the reason the 450 number was a thing is because in the mid 90s, dude, if you look at the first time Dave Triplett won the OG million, I want to say his dragster said it was only going like 550s or 530s. So, I mean, 450 was extremely fast back then. And back then they had the door cars got a 2/10 brake because of weight and aerodynamics, things like that. Obviously, you got to have more power to go faster in a door car. So the 450 thing has been outdated for about probably it's needed to go at least to 430 for the last probably 15, 20 years, as far as I'm concerned, because it's so easy to go fast, especially in a dragster. They don't even give the door cars 2/10 brake anymore because it's so easy to go fast anymore, and they expect a door car to be able to run 450 also. I don't have a problem with that, but 430s in a dragster is so easy anymore. The problem is they have a cutoff, and I think Gateway is one of the bigger events, or at least it used to be, where they take 32 cars at a lot of places, but there's like Gateway and Indy, they used to always take 64 cars in there, and whenever you're getting to the point where you're getting 64 car fields, then we need to figure out if we're still bumping people out, because a Gateway, you'd have 100 people try to get in it.
Right.
So if we just lower the index, the cutoff point to 430, where 429 would be the disqualified pass, now we're bringing a bunch of people forward and we're getting a better show at the same time. But the cool part about Verge is that it's all run. So anybody who enters it, the index is 450. See, the super quick stuff is you just can't go faster than 450. It's still a qualified bracket race. It's just like Top Dragster and Top Sportsman, where you can't go faster than 610 in NHRA, Top Sportsman, and Top Dragster. And
so that's a little bit more manageable to do.
Yeah,
right?
But we're the fastest number of cars.
Correct. And in the grand scheme of things, that the super quick class fits the majority of dragsters. So that's my question. Why have we not moved, or why hasn't it not spread from Division 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to whatever, however many divisions there are? Because we know in any given division, there's 32 cars capable of running 450. I'm going to find the bump here. Somebody asked me for the bump, so I'm looking for it now, but we know that's doable.
That's why Verge exists. Verge is a 450 dragster index deal,
but it's not the same. It's a heads up dragster index. I'm trying to ask, why does super quick, the restricted 450 class for a dragster, that turns into a bracket race? If you run you can only dial 450. If your car runs 446, you must dial 450. But on the other hand of that, there's cars that are going to be dialed 459, 460. The bump at this particular race, if I'm seeing it on Sunday, was 462. Okay?
And
you had 1,
qualifier
2, 3, 4.
How many is that?
That's 32 cars. And you had 4 cars run underneath the 450 index, and then 3 cars run above 462. And then there's a guy, there's a number 1 qualifier guy. His name was George Atchison. So that was my dad.
The way that congratulations on that, Big George. Yeah. But that got some qualifier money too, I bet.
Yeah, buddy.
But well, the thing is that with it having that capped field for the level, between Verge and between PDRA, I think that super quick series is kind of played out, honestly, at this point, because Verge will take over all those guys. Anybody in a dragster that can go 460 can easily run 450.
But here's the thing.
It doesn't take a lot of nitrous to pick up a 10th.
Here's the thing, though, and this is what is kind of really good about where Verge is located. Name to me one super quick dragster that isn't going to go Verge racing.
That's what I'm saying.
Here in April 20th. I know my family's going. I mean,
yeah.
But it's a different style of racing, right? Everybody's got to dial 450. You got to dial it. This is basically super comp racing at the 450 index. That's it.
Well, no throttle stops.
Well, no
But
throttle, right? No throttle stops, right? But that's still what we're talking about here. You're going
yeah,
off the pro tree, and you're going to be restricted to 450. There's no dial above it. There's no dial below it. Period. Okay.
Mhm.
It's foolproof. Now there are going to be a lot of people from Verge that or a lot of people from Super Quick that will run that class. And I still believe, especially here in Texas, like if I had it, I'd sponsor the thing myself right here at Extreme Motorsports Park, if they let me do it, and put on a 450 index 32 or 450 class 32 car qualified bracket race, and watch how many dragsters I get every single time I do it. Guarantee it.
yeah, it's. I mean, like I said, in my opinion, the Super Quick Series is played out now that Verge showed up, now that PDRA showed up, now that we're running NHRA Top Dragster and Top Sportsman, now that we have Midwest Top Sportsman, our Midwest Drag Racing Series, where they have 420 door car index and they have Top Dragster and Top Sportsman. Like, there's no point in going on Super Quick Racing anymore, especially in the Midwest, because you have, like I said, you got TB promotions with the Verge Series. So you got like 6 or 8 races there. Then you got Midwest Drag Racing Series, where you have like 6 or 8 races there. So now we're already at 12. The season is not as long in the Midwest as it is everywhere else. So basically, you might race, if on a good year, you might race 20 times between rain and all that stuff. So I mean, your year is pretty close to being full already with that. And then you got PDRA, I think, goes to Michigan, so you can run that. You can come out here and run a couple things. I mean, I just don't see the point in running Super Quick anymore, because Top Dragster and Top Sportsman, you're dialing bracket racing also, and it might be a little faster, a little slower. I can understand the quarter mile stuff, not running to run the quarter mile stuff because you're getting so hard on stuff and trying to push it so hard to get in the field. But the 8th mile stuff is not nearly as hard on parts, and it's not as hard to get qualified in those fields as it is the quarter mile fields whenever they're open fields.
Sure. All I know is 2 days in a row, 40 dragsters showed up to run a 32 car field. So, as quote unquote played out as you feel that it may be, definitely still gets quite a bit of a showing. Some of those cars are top dragsters and all that. Of course, that is in
what's it pay
3.
to win? What's it pay to win? It doesn't.
I think $2,000.
Yeah, that's
something
so
like that.
One Verge race would pay more than all of the Super Quick races for the year.
That's no question about it. It is no question about it, of course. But we're talking about participation at a race, not necessarily the purse. So, at 40 cars that say, I got 40 cars that'll tell you it's not played out, because 40 cars went and run for 32 spots. Saying something. That's all I know. So, and obviously, if we were to replicate what they're doing, there's a very, very good chance that it's successful. It's a great chance, especially in places that don't have the opportunity. Let's go out west. What type of index, or because we know Verge ain't out there, we know Super Quick ain't out there. What type of 450 class or index racing do they have for a dragster or a door car?
They have. They actually run a lot of index. I want to say at Bakersfield, they got like 4 flat and 420 and 450. They have all kinds of stuff. But I mean, they can't race out there a whole lot because they got stupid California rules where they're not allowed to do anything. And I mean, that's a fact. That just is what it is. But
Right.
At the end of the day, that's just how it goes out there, and they keep shutting everything down. Salt Lake City shut down. Really, the only place to race out there is Vegas and Bakersfield, and I think Sonoma. I don't know if Sonoma's got a drag strip or not. There's just not a lot of options out there.
Right. I got corrected here too. John Ralowski corrected me on the purse. It was a $3,200 to win, not $2,000. So, definitely though. Either way you look at it, there was a lot of racing going on this past weekend, and looks like we're gonna have at least one really good race this week. I'm definitely going to catch like I said, the CP Promotions Racer Appreciation Bash. So I do think he entered or announced that there is a junior dragster class as well, 16 car field. I want to say they're running for 400 or something like that. So If you got juniors and you want to get in, you'd better get a hold of them. I don't expect that to last very long trying to get into that class. So, Cody Spears says Sonoma does have a drag strip. We visited it last year. So, what you got in closing, Casey? We coming up on that hour.
Yeah, not a lot. Just, I don't know. I really don't know. Everybody tune in to Going Bracket Racing this weekend. Catch George's stream down there, wherever CP's at this week. That's where George's going to be covering all the action. I don't think there's anything else to watch, guys, so you don't have any excuse. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Y'all keep forgetting to hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube for us. Help us out over there and get this pushed out so we can build bracket racing up even bigger than we already got it.
I heard that, and definitely get a chance to watch. I believe it releases tomorrow at 6 Central, 7 Eastern. The newest version of the vlog here on GBR as well. And for now, guys, it may be busy. I think we'll be here Tuesday, but I got to take off Wednesday for another race to stream. So we'll see what happens on next Tuesday. Until then, have a good one. We'll see you guys later.